everyone, and welcome to Meeple Leaf Reviews. I'm Jeffrey.
I'm Jacob.
And today we're doing a review of A Feast for Odin.
A grand feast.
Uwe Rosenberg, I have basically all of his games,
Yes,
at least
you do.
his bigger box games.
Yeah.
So when this one came out at Essen, I had to pick it up.
Right.
So I'm diving right in.
All right, let's do
Art
it.
and components. Holy crap.
There are a ton of components in this game, my word.
Yep, but even though there's a lot, I still think they're good quality cards and cardboard tokens.
Yep.
And even more excellent is that it comes with these trays, which organizes it for easy setup and takedown.
Exactly.
It's awesome.
Yeah, and the tokens are all double-sided, so you can flip from one side to the other because you're upgrading them through 4 stages, so that cuts down on the amount of tokens that you have.
Yeah,
even though there's so many.
Rather than 500, rather than 1,000, you only have 500 pieces.
Exactly. Yeah.
Exactly. For the theme, you're Vikings. You're going out hunting, pillaging, raiding, building up, getting cows, as Vikings are wont to do.
Yeah.
I don't really feel the theme while I'm playing. However, they put an almanac in the game box where it explains how each of the different components relates to the theme of being a Viking, which I thought was super cool. The other thing that, for me personally, that I really like is one of the exploration boards you can go to is Newfoundland.
Sure.
And that's where I'm from.
There you go.
I have yet
Jeffrey's in the I'm
Yeah, I'm in the game. I'm like, oh, that's my hometown. I've never actually traveled to Newfoundland in the game, but someday I'll go on a vacation there.
Right. For theme-wise, I don't feel like I'm a Viking or anything like that, though I feel several of the actions feel like that's exactly what I'm doing. When I go hunting and I kill this animal, I'm getting meat and I'm getting a pelt, for example. When I'm going to the market, I might be paying some money and getting some resources. You have cows and you're getting milk from them. And then there's other actions that don't feel so thematic as well. Such as I'm taking this cloth or whatever and I'm putting it down on my land, covering up negative points. I don't know what that's supposed to represent.
Right.
Or if I need to feed my people, I'm giving them a coin, which could be they're going and buying their own food.
At the tavern.
But you can spend 1 coin to get a whole bunch of food that could feed like 6 people with the tokens that you get. So why is this one, he's eating for 6 that day? Like, it doesn't really make sense. So there's a couple things, a couple swings, but overall, there's some very thematic features to the game.
Yeah, definitely. I feel that it relates to the theme, but sometimes I just don't feel it.
Yeah.
For rules and teaching, I mean, this one, there's a lot to teach. I don't feel that anything was particularly complicated. It's just, there's a ton. And you're going to have a lot of questions in that first game because there's like 60-something action spaces.
Yeah, there's at least 30 to 40 for sure.
But with the teaching of it, the thing I liked is that there's a visual reference of everything on the board. Either what tokens you can place on the board in what configuration, all the different action spaces, what they do, the round phase track of how the round is going to work. There's a representation of everything on the board.
Sure.
Makes it so much easier for teaching, but you're still going to get questions.
Right. Yeah, from a learning perspective, it definitely took 2 games for me to learn the game. There's lots of actions to go to, and I don't think that it's clear enough that you're going to get it just with someone walking through these 40 actions. You're going to be like, okay, I know what all 40 are.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen. So I needed refreshers on several of the actions.
Yeah.
The turn order is also very long-winded. If you're walking someone through the turn order, I think there's like 15 phases or something like that you're going through, which could potentially add a little confusion to the game. And then endgame scoring cards that you get, I had to look up every single one of them, even though maybe the iconography is well done. I still felt like I had to look it all up.
Yeah, I think you get an idea of what it does, but you need to double check what it actually exactly does.
Exactly, yeah.
In the game. Then on to gameplay and mechanisms.
Okay.
For me, the feeling that I get when I sit down and play this game is that I'm putting together a puzzle.
Right.
The cool things that I like about it is that it's not a puzzle where I have all the pieces already, or I even have the entire puzzle there.
Sure.
I'm building my puzzle by exploring different regions or getting different boards, and then I need to go out and get the pieces to put onto my boards to complete my puzzle. And then the other thing that makes it more puzzly, let's say, is those bonus income resources that you can get if you cover everything around it.
Yeah.
If that was not in this game, the game would fall flat, I think, for me.
Sure.
Because there's no decision making, you're just trying to cover things up. But because you're like, oh, I want to cover it up in such a way that I leave this one space showing, that's where the puzzle comes in and gives you an incentive for completing the puzzle efficiently. Because you want to cover those over earlier so you can kind of build a little bit of an income engine in the game. So for me, that's the feeling I get when I sit down and play.
Right. For me, that is the aspect that I do like about it, and I appreciate. I agree that without those little things that you're trying to surround to get these bonus resources, and without trying to build up from left to right, covering everything to increase your income value, the game would fall very flat. However, I felt like I didn't really have a puzzle. It was just I'm placing a tile on the board. I never found it complicated enough to be a puzzle that I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah.
At no point was I going, oh, what piece do I need to fit here and put there? I was just like, okay, I have all these resources. Let me throw them down and cover up all the things I need
And for me, it's not so much that it was a puzzle of putting them down.
Right.
Like it wasn't hard to put them out.
Right.
The puzzle comes in efficiency.
Sure. Yeah.
Efficiency in games. How can I efficiently put these down to get the maximum benefit out of them? And that's where the puzzle came for me.
Yeah, I could see that exactly.
I did want to remark on one thing in this game, comparing it to a couple of his other big box games, especially Agricola and Caverna. In those games, a lot of it is focusing on getting more workers and feeding your people.
Sure.
In this game, the one thing that I like that kind of departed from that is that you automatically get a new worker every single round. So you can focus on completing your puzzle rather than focus on, I need to do this action and build this up so I can get another worker so I can do more next time. I like that it automatically gave you a worker every single round.
Right.
The other thing was about the feeding your people.
It was really interesting.
Yeah, it's like a little mini puzzle in and of itself where if you have two of the same goods, one becomes less valuable.
Yep.
So it doesn't become so much about how much you have. It becomes about what variety you have when feeding your puzzle, which was a nice twist rather than just saying, at the end of the round you need 6 coins or you need this much food.
Yeah, it was a real interesting twist. You can't have certain things together, and then you might have a long piece that covers up 4 squares, but if you try and feed them the same thing twice, they're like, I'm full of that, I don't want more, and so you have to twist it on end, and it's only covering up one space. Yeah. Very clever. I really enjoyed that part.
Yeah, so I liked how this game differed from the other games with those two aspects.
Sure.
The thing that I did not like in this game, however, is the occupation system.
Yeah.
The occupation system is the thing I love the most in Agricola, the thing I dislike in this game. And that's because in Agricola, you get them all at the beginning. You can build your strategy based on the cards that you have for occupations. In this game, you start with one, and then you're getting one, like an occupation here, an occupation there. You're getting them in the middle of the game. And you can't really build a long-term strategy based on them because there's so many occupations that you can't bank on, I'm going to
100 or more.
I can't search through the deck to find this one occupation that I want. It's just too random, and you can't build a strategy based on it.
I felt like I got stung several times. One game I played through and got about 6 or 7 of these occupations, didn't use any of them because none of them worked with what I was trying to do.
Yeah.
I do like the way that you are acquiring them in the game. You have to spend 3 workers to a location to get one and 4 to a location to put one down. I thought that was really unique, very clever.
Yeah, and just to clarify, those are, like, you aren't just spending 3 guys to get a occupation. That's a bonus on top of the action you're completing.
Yeah, anytime you spend 3 workers at a location, you get that as bonus. Anytime you spend 4, you get that as bonus.
Yeah.
So I felt that was very clever, but I feel that there needs to be a drafting system at the beginning of the game so you can tailor what your plan is for that game. Otherwise, someone gets really lucky, they're going to do really well with their occupations, and then someone else gets unlucky and you're losing out on 20 points or something.
The last game that I played, I had like 10 or 12 occupations. I played 1.
Yeah.
So you can end the game not ever playing them just because you don't draw something with the strategy that you're going with, because you can set a strategy that you want to go for at the beginning of the game in this game.
Yeah.
And I think the occupations need to be tailored towards that mindset.
Sure. I think it would be a lot more entertaining anyways.
Yeah, for sure. I love drafting anyways.
Exactly, yeah.
The other thing that I thought was interesting in this game is that it's a Euro game with dice rolling.
Right.
Dice rolling combat, where you're rolling a dice and that's dictating whether or not you succeed or fail.
Can you tell how I feel about that the way I said right?
The thing, I think it's interesting that it's in the game.
Yeah.
And I think that it's done in a very Euro-style way.
Oh, yeah, for sure, yeah.
You have resources that you can spend that mitigates the dice rolls. And actually, one of the resources, the weapon cards, they're good for nothing else other than spending them for the dice rolls.
Yeah.
So it's not like you're giving up something that you can use elsewhere. You're giving them up to complete this action. That's the only thing you can do.
Yep.
And you don't even need to take actions to get combat cards. You get one every turn.
Yeah, they're free.
So the longer the game goes, the more likely you are to succeed at them. The other thing is that it's not a purely succeed-fail combat system. It isn't, I beheaded the dragon, we win, or no, the dragon killed us, there's nothing we can do about it.
We got nothing.
If you fail, you're going to get resources out of it, a weapon and of a good of the type that you could spend to help you succeed the next time you try.
Right. As well as maybe get a worker back that you spent trying to take that action.
And you get 3 rolls of the dice.
Right.
So right out of the gate, you get 3 rolls rather than just 1.
That's
and
right.
It's a little bit of push your luck. Oh, I rolled a 4. Do I try and roll and get higher? Or do I, it's up to you. You can push your luck in that way. So I think it was done very Euro style.
Right.
And it was interesting that it was included in the game.
Yeah, it's interesting. However, I feel that it felt misplaced to me during the game. I never felt like every time I saw, there's this action and I can roll some dice. Oh, no. It's not something that you normally see in a Euro, so it felt awkward to me. Also, with those weapons that you're getting, if you're trying to tailor a strategy that maybe you're going to go out sailing and you're going to kill some whales with your harpoons, but all you're drawing is bow and arrows, then you don't have those weapons you need to do that strategy. Right. So you're more often going to fail than succeed at it. I also felt that when you fail, I felt like it was a wasted action. And yes, you're getting a few resources, but maybe it's resources you don't need. So that's just a wasted action.
And this is where I disagree with you. I didn't feel like it was a waste. I felt it was suboptimal,
right,
but not a complete waste.
Yeah.
So I didn't enjoy failing, but I wasn't like, oh, well.
Yeah, you never want to fail, but you're supplemented for that failure.
Yeah, so it's not like I'm going home with nothing.
Yeah.
In the game. I think that's the main things that I want to talk about for Feast for Odin. On to my final rating.
Sure.
Overall, I really like the game. The puzzle nature of it, for me too, it's a game that you can continually do better and push yourself to do better. Okay. Because the game is a set number of rounds. I'm always trying to beat my high score from last time.
Sure.
Trying to potentially overextend and explore even more lands, because the more you explore, the more minus points you're taking on. So you need to cover those up. So that's, for me, the enjoyment is trying not necessarily to beat my opponent, but to beat myself game to game.
Sure.
In this. So for me, it's an 8 out of 10 because I don't like the occupation system.
Okay.
I think it would be higher because I really like the puzzle, but that occupation system just brings it down a couple pegs for me.
Okay. The main thing that I don't like about the game is I feel it's very repetitive. A lot of the actions, probably 75% of the actions where you're sending your workers out, you're getting tokens. You then either place those tokens on your board or you upgrade them into different tokens so you can place them on your board.
Yeah.
So it's just get a token, place it on a board, and that's it for 90 minutes to 2 hours.
Right.
I feel that that's extremely repetitive. I don't enjoy it. I also don't feel that the puzzle is very strategic. Now, I would say that the puzzle nature is mainly with your starting board. Everyone has the same starting board. It's a giant square, and it's very simplified.
Right.
Whereas you can actually buy buildings, and you can sail out to other new lands, and those new lands are awkward, weird shapes, and they have holes, little voids that you need to work around. Whenever I went to those locations, I found that an actually interesting puzzle to try and figure out of, I need this piece. I need to get around this weird thing. I can't use this giant piece that I have that I want to put down, but it fits nowhere without covering up stuff that I need.
Right.
So I found that interesting, whereas the main board is just this blah thing. But you can't ignore the main board because it has like negative 150 points on it. So you have to put a whole bunch of stuff down there to cover that up. You can't just go, I'll explore everywhere else and just leave this alone.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to agree with you. I feel that the exploration boards and all those are more interesting puzzles.
Right.
And what I would do is I try to get those boards to give me stuff to cover up my main board later.
Sure.
My main board is something that I'm trying to do towards the end of the game, especially those higher up spaces are just negative points. They're giving me nothing during the game.
Exactly.
I want to get these other ones, fill those up to give me more stuff to cover up my main board.
Sure.
But yeah, I definitely agree. The main board puzzle is not as interesting as the puzzles from the other tiles that you can get.
Yeah, it might be interesting in future expansions if they had a different main board that was like you had some asymmetry between the players. That would be cool.
Yeah. So what is your rating?
So my final rating, overall, I found the game very bland and repetitive. Not enough there for me. I'm giving it a 5 out of 10. It's something that I would play again maybe once a year.
Right.
But any more than that, it's just bland, repetitive nature, and that's it.
And just to clear, because like a 5 is pretty low.
Mm-hmm.
And from your final thoughts, I don't think you think that the game is bad. It's just you don't like the puzzle.
I don't like the puzzle.
And I think the difference between the two of us is we feel the same way a lot about one of the game mechanisms. It's just I like the puzzle and you don't like the puzzle.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. So that is our review for A Feast for Odin.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go out and have some feasts.
Or feast on a different game, maybe.
Exactly. I will be feasting on this one, I think, hopefully a few more times.
Excellent.
So if that sounded interesting to you, definitely check it out. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We always appreciate that.
Yeah, leave us some comments down there. We love it. You can also follow us on Twitter at MeepleLeaf. And in the description down below, you can go to Board Game Links, give us some hearts so other people can find us.
All right, see you guys next time.
Take care.